Hey YouTube, CartridgeCanuck here. This is my first room tour of my media room, my gaming center for retro and new video games, as well as some other things that we use to bring us comfort and entertainment in the long winters, as well as the hot summers. Nothing like a cool basement to retreat to. You'll have to excuse my voice a bit. I have a little bit of a cold. So I actually had to stay home while everybody else was doing something fun. So I figured, why not do that video that I've been wanting to do and show everyone, kind of my gaming setup and movies and where we hang out. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is our basement. There was some hideous wallpaper in here at one point, and we've since painted it and updated it. We took out the taped down carpet. These are some older carpets older throw rugs that we decided to just keep from a relative. But I painted the floor, updated the wall colors and things. There's still a lot of things I'd like to do with the wall as far as art goes. We have one piece of artwork, and that is from our uncle. But other than that, I'd like to take some time to fill it with artwork, but that takes money, so which we're kind of short on right now. Of course, there's the cat crawling down from the window on top of the TVs, the two TVs. But let's show you over here. So here's the wet bar. That's kind of a nice place to get a drink, make popcorn, whatever you want to do. Yeah, we put that in, and I'm quite happy with that. Also have in here, real quick, just the microwave, toaster oven, and refrigerator, complete with whining cat. So it's nice to be able to grab a drink without having to go upstairs. Nothing like living in the lap of luxury. And here is the foosball table. Oh, but wait, what's that? It's not quite a foosball table, it's got little hockey players on it. Or hockey sticks, to be precise, in place of the players. Yes, it is indeed a talkie table. I call it fooski, because that sounds better than talkie. But yeah, we have a lot of fun on that. Of course, the obligatory cat scratch pad, as well as their toy. They hang out down here during the day, and that's not bad. So next we'll go around, we'll show you. Yeah, it works, it's fun. Nothing too fancy about the furniture. Old furniture, we can call it retro, but we know it's just old, and that's what you do with your furniture. You put it in the basement. So there's some old couches. There's one of the chairs. That's where I sit usually when I'm playing games. And then we sit together on the couch there. There's the view where the seating is. Ottomans, things like that. So let's do just a closer shot of the whole wall. Of course, gotta back up again. Sorry. So there is my milk crate entertainment wall, and in case you didn't notice by now, each individual container is a milk crate. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 green ones, including the one that's tipped over on its, or tipped upright, I guess you should say, as a drawer. But most of them are all black. The wall behind it is also black with 2x4 studs that I use to anchor to the wall. But I might do a more detailed video about that later on, but for now people don't want to hear about how I mounted it on the wall. What's important is that it is maximum amount of space from floor to ceiling, and crosswise there's only that little gap up top where the speaker is, but that's actually quite nice to be able to feed wires and shove those speakers up there, complete with the rotating memo board, Nintendo Entertainment System. So there's that view of all the crates from top to bottom, with the TV, the two TVs, the widescreen TV, and the old boob tube. So let's go to the movie side. I'll keep the retro gamers in suspense for a bit. So this is where I got some old movies, old books, new books, got Blu-rays on display. So there's the old video game how-to books, as well as some reference and reading material. This new Console Wars book is quite good. I'm reading that currently. Next row, that's where I got all my cleaning supplies. This guy is a little recycling container bin. That's where I throw out all my Q-tips and stuff. Of course, there's the Advil bottles used for the rubbing alcohol. It's a smaller container. And the Q-tips for cleaning the contacts on the old games. There's some series, as well as just all the bulk Blu-rays that I bought. Got to put them in a binder. And TV series. I turned this one upside down because that's how I keep track of which season I'm on. That way I don't get lost when I return to it. Some other series there. More TV. Oh, somebody didn't put away the Q-tip bag. Of course, that was me. Mystery Science Theater 3000. What's that about as a kid? I'd like to continue collecting that. Samurai Jack. There's the Master Chief helmet. Hello. I thought that was nice to display. I cleaned it up, had a lot of dust on it. There's the Wii, where the controllers get charged. I mainly use the universal remote, which is there. And then there's some other ones that I'm yet to program into that remote. Then we get down into the Xbox stuff. 360, Xbox. Notice a lot of Halos. That's basically all I play on the old Xbox, which should go there. It's on loan right now. There is the B category for NES games, and mostly because I'm running out of room. So I gotta come up with ways to display those better. There's some magazines, old Nintendo Powers, reference guides, manuals. 360 and the modem router for the internet. PlayStation 3 with the Apple TV underneath or on top with the Logitech remote control for the PS3. Amplifier, PVR or DVR for people in the States for the TV. And now there's the TV. Everybody's got one of those. This is, well, that's just the phone. Picture of me and my brother and my dad when I was younger. That is the wallpaper that was on that wall. So imagine from end all the way to this end, filled with that wallpaper. We called it the stoner wall. It was terrible to look at. Anyway, got the new phone and then the old phone. I thought this one was kind of funky. It's got the touchstone pad as well as the rotary. Makes a nice sound. Oh, a precursor to the retro games. So we got all the Mega Mans 1 through 6. Happy about that with the blue cases. I think that looks pretty sharp. And of course, you got to be playing with power. Nintendo power. So one last thing on this side would be the arcade unit, the iCade. At first the app for this, I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I had trouble with the app. It kept crashing all the time. So my wife was really awesome. She said, hey, I finally found you something that I think is perfect. Bought this unit for me, downloaded the app. When I purchased the app, none of the games wanted to load anymore. So that was kind of a bummer. But now with the, I don't know, the latest update, it finally started working again, so we have a lot of fun with that. Press the buttons, the coin mech lights up. Has a pretty good feel. And there's the two cats. Okay, so why don't we take a step back and just look at this column. So kind of have 3 on one side of the TV and 3 on the other. You get a shot of that. There's all the consoles lined up in each of their own box. They are all powered on and hooked up to the AV switch to the TV. And I'll show you a bit more of that in finer detail. So we got these 3 columns. The idea was to have a, well, we'll start right to left, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega column. No particular order other than I had more Nintendo games than anything, so Sega kind of got the shorter end of the stick, but I still enjoy all 3 systems. All 6, I should say. So my scope is to collect for the 8 and 16-bit consoles, 8 and 16-bit generation for the Nintendo and Sega companies. So, long story short, there's the Master System, which is 8-bit, and the Genesis, which is 16-bit. And also you have the corresponding NES that doesn't need much explanation. We just called it the Nintendo when we were little. And the Super Nintendo, 16-bit, of course. Then you have the Super Nintendo 2 and 64. What's that doing there? And I have a bucket of N64 games. Not many. And the Genesis 2. I'm in the works of getting a Genesis 3. I have a Master System 2 and a NES top loader, or NES 2, whichever you prefer. Eventually I'd like to have all of the North American versions of the 8 and 16-bit Sega and Nintendo consoles on display, powered, and ready to just plug and play basically on the TV here. So maybe why don't I describe a bit of the setup here. So what you have in front of you is each console corresponds to a switch. So actually the TV belongs to channel 1. And then here we have the Nintendo, switch 2, Super Nintendo, switch 3, switch 4 is the Super Nintendo 2, then you have the 64, switch 5, Master System 6, Genesis 1, switch 7, switch 8 is the Genesis 2. Right now I have them all powered on. 9 is the spare, but not for long. So I can power each individual one on. It's not draining a whole bunch of power, having them continually turn on the power bar, turned on, draining more, using more energy. So that's a bit more energy efficient, as well as keeping the consoles from getting fried, so to speak, having background power and running through them. They're old. They're resilient, but they're still old, and you want to take care of them best you can. So not only do I have them powered on, and on universal power, this is an idea that I was inspired by. A guy called Gaming the Systems is his YouTube channel, and he goes into further detail about what these things are for. Usually they're used for DJs. You can mount them onto one of those professional displays, but it actually fits perfectly inside of one of these wide green milk crates that I got. So I thought that is awesome, because I just bought them thinking I'd make it fit wherever it had to fit, but Fit perfectly here, right in the center of the display. Couldn't ask for a better fit. Then you have the AV switch with the corresponding pictures. So I have two switches, and one switch feeds into the other. So this one feeds into this one. That's where you'll see these. So in order for this top bar, any of these consoles you want to choose, to show up on the TV, you have to press their button as well as this button. So right now we have Battletoads playing, good timing, on the Nintendo. So that switch is turned on and turned on here. So let me show you what we can do with the switch here. So I'm gonna press the switch and then we'll show you what is on the TV. So right now we have the Super Nintendo. What game is that? UN Squadron. Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo 2. Top Gear, another favorite from my childhood. And then the N64. Of course, the classic and never getting old Mario Kart 64. Another one that we played way too much, but really enjoyed it. And now, this is engaged. Once you press the bottom 3 for the Master System, Genesis, or 2, it'll disengage that one. So we have the Master System. Double Dragon. You can do 2-player co-op, which I really like on that. I never had a Master System growing up. We only had the Nintendo and Super Nintendo. Our cousins had the Genesis, which is really cool. And on that note, let's go to the Genesis. It's a classic Sonic the Hedgehog. Can't go wrong. Between this game and then what is on the Genesis 2, Golden Axe. Between those two games, Sonic and Golden Axe, my cousins were pretty cool. They had the Dark Knight, the Sega Genesis, as their console of choice, and going over their place was always really fun and visiting with them. But then we also got to play their gaming systems, so that was always an enjoyment. Alright, so I showed you the switch, the power. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Love to explain it to you better or more coherently. But all the wires are fed through the back. You can't see them. I really like this setup as well for when you have the lights out. You actually don't see anything besides the big TV that you're watching when you're watching the shows, other than the illuminated light switches for whichever devices you have powered on the left or right side. So there's the switches for the power and the AV, and to the Sony Trinitron boob tube. Can't go wrong with that. I like the matching Sony brands. Plus it's just a really wicked white TV I found at Value Village in Canada here. I was debating whether or not to get it, and I'm glad that I didn't debate for too long, because I would have really been hard on myself about letting that one go. So, alright, so we have the drawers. I didn't know what to do for the bottom, whether to have more carts on their side to display more consoles, but then I just tried turning the one box, I guess, with the right side up, and it actually worked really well. I have a whole line of drawers along the bottom, and each of them generally correspond to either consoles or certain section that I want designated for certain storage. So of course you have your Nintendo storage, that column. Of course, remote controls, guns, new dog bone controller, Super Nintendo stuff. There's the mouse pad. What else we got in here? There's the mouse. Lots of other Super Nintendo junk. Got the Enforcer gun. This is kind of a modge-podge of Master System control stick, of course. Genesis controllers. There's a little subwoofer. I chose to go with new sound for older games. Excuse me. Because I think that they're deserving of the higher quality sound output than just the mono speaker that comes out of the side. Retro, by definition, is combining new ideas with old mechanics or old parts or pieces. So I think that we did that pretty well. Anyway, that's that little explanation. There's the sub. And there's the N64 stuff. And the games. I did my own top labels. There's two that are missing top labels. I still have to find those stickers. Conker's Bad Fur Day. And Not So Awesome, but still fun. Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey. And there's the other ones. Of course, got all the controllers underneath. Darth Vader sticker. Games. And then there's just a hodgepodge of old NES cases. Junk. This is kind of new console generation. Wii, Xbox. My brother made this controller for me. Let's see if it'll turn on still. Cool. We call it the Magnum. Real shell casings on those. Old Xbox controllers. The big beefy controllers. And that one's just junk, which I don't want to show you. Alright, let's get down to the games now. Let's start with the Genesis stuff. I don't have as many Genesis games. Of course, you'll see in the back there's the loose games. And there's some good loose games back there. Atomic Runner is really fun. I really like the Power Rangers, the movie game. Movie of the game, yeah, however you say that. Got all the. These are some of the top, or some of my top favorites, I guess, on this row. No particular order, other than I like the color transition and arrangement. Of course, Wily Wars wasn't released in North America, but I got a repro case and cart, as well as instructions with that. Then we move up to the series. This is probably one of my more coveted for myself, not necessarily for other collectors, but I'm really proud of these guys and just like looking at them, and of course I really like playing games as well. So we've got the Golden Axe trilogy. What? Golden Axe 3. Another reproduction cart, translated from Japanese to English. Yeah, completes that. 3. Splatterhouse 2 and 3. Now these are legitimate games. The cover actually for Splatterhouse 3 I had to print because that one didn't turn out so well. But that's all original for 2. 3. We got Sonic the Hedgehog. Needs no explanation. Sonic and Knuckles edition for. You can use that for 3 as well as 2. Streets of Rage. All legit. Like that. And then we got another Ghouls and Ghosts. I kind of had a Ghouls and Ghosts thing. Japanese version up there. And then we got the Honeybee to play that as well. These are my select Master System games, but they're quite good. You know, you got Alien Syndrome, Ghouls and Ghosts. Completely different game than Ghosts and Goblins on the NES. And but the colors on that are great. Double Dragon, Streets of Rage 1 and 2, very, very fun. First Golden Axe. Having Returns, which is very, very colorful again. Sonic games, I just thought that was pretty cool. I like any 8-bit game, so having Sonic, traditionally 16-bit game, put onto a Master System is just even more fun. More of a novelty idea, I guess, but they are fun to play. And we got some other games up top there. Super Nintendo. This is the one I probably had the most memories of growing up. Of course, you have my favorite Super Nintendo game, possibly favorite game of all time. I don't know, it's hard to pick, but this is definitely one of my favorite games, and favorite game for the system. UN Squadron, you gotta play it. A couple other select box games, maybe not by choice, but I don't want to get rid of them unless I can trade for something. Not necessarily a box collector. First season of Game Chasers signed. Awesome. Japanese Mother 2, which is Earthbound over here. Hey, little guy. Then you got a hodgepodge of different titles. Keep saying that a lot. I'll have to come up with a new word. A variety. And then you have, oh, the lighting's not going to be so good for me, is it? Yeah, a lot of RPGs on the left. Everybody's seen them. If you see any that you like, give it a shout out. It's really hard to read, I'm sorry. I thought I selected the right setting for this camera. The story behind this guy, why the zombies ate my neighbors, is in the box. This is actually a gift on our anniversary. My wife arranged a very elaborate means of attaining this game through a network of friends and family, and yeah, I just thought that meant a lot, and it was really nice of her to do. Of course, she wrote me a really nice note, and yeah, so I display that. And then there's some games on the back there. Again, wow, this lighting, I'm sorry. Let's see, I'll shout out a couple of them. Earth Defense Force, Run Sabers, a lot of fun. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Then up top are the kind of the shoot 'em ups. Axlay Gradius, Pocky and Rocky 1 and 2, lots of fun. And then there's the Top Gears. Top Gears are there, of course that's just bad, so let's move on. Bad lighting, good game. Next in line, kind of got a lot of the more favorable titles down here. This is kind of my desert island bin, so if I had to take one stack of games, yes, I'm allowing myself 2 stacks of game and 1 milk crate to take on a desert island. This would be the one that I would take. Oh wait, I forgot UN Squadron. Okay, I'll just take UN Squadron. But this is also some games that I want to take. Yep, lots of the good ones there. Moving over to the NES. Alright, there's the NES column. Alright, who's in charge of the lighting here? On the bottom row I got a lot of the Capcom titles. And then it transitions from Ultra into Konami. Ultra and Konami, of course, you know the story behind that. Ultra was Konami, but then they could release up to 10 games a year instead of the 5 that Nintendo limited everybody in the early days. Got Zelda 1 and 2. I have these boxed in these cases just because, I don't know, I have special memories with them. Plus they're gold, so once they start rubbing against the other cartridges, then you're going to start losing that new look. But yeah, I remember my brother playing a lot of Zelda. My mom actually beat that game before he did, which is pretty funny. Pretty funny story. He wouldn't talk to her for a week until he beat it. Then we got the black box titles on the bottom, arranged by color, not by alphabet, just because I think that's more aesthetically pleasing. I find it overwhelming when everything's arranged alphabetically, because you don't really focus on one thing. If somebody has, you know, 300 games, you're looking at all 300, you kind of get lost. So I like to arrange them a bit by appeal and category and publisher. So these are kind of the Nintendo games on the top. Again, some of the more select games that you really want to play. Then finally on the top you have a bunch of different series. So there's the Dragon Warrior series, Battle Kid 1 and 2. I hope that Simak comes out with a third. Double Dragons, Ninja Gaiden, Adventure Islands, Bomberman, and then some fillers because I'm waiting on Adventure Island 3 sometime, and Ninja Gaiden 3 would be nice. Then you have kind of the licensed and or recognizable, you know, kind of TV character games. So you have the Bart, you have the Simpson games, Where's Waldo, Back to the Future, Friday the 13th, Batman, Terminator games, RoboCop, Rocketeer, Gremlins 2, shout out to Retro Dave, and then we got just those two guys on the end. They're still good games, and the Pirate Carts, 31 game in one. That's I think a 60, and this is another Canadian one, 40 games in one. And then those are the Wisdom Tree games up there. Some boxes, again, excuse me, not as attached to boxed games, but the story behind the, including the River City Ransom and the Mega Man 2 through 5, these actually belong to all one owner, and you know, I made a good deal. I actually traded him just my copies of 2 and 3 loose for his complete box copies of 2, 3, and then I think I bought 4 or 5, a copy of 1, but not in the box, and a copy of River City Ransom complete in box from him. So since it was such a good deal, and they're great games and great box art to look at, even though some of it's cheesy, I thought it'd be cool to have them all from the original owner and have that story behind them. And then, let's see, Mario 2 and 3, Dr. Mario. I think I picked that up with my brother in Pennsylvania. One of our first excursions looking for old Nintendo games. And there's Mother, which is Earthbound on the NES. So guys, that is about it. I don't think there's anything that I'm forgetting to show you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. You can ask me anything you want about the setup. You know, if you want more details about how to do this on your own. The whole setup actually only cost me, including the crates, the lumber, the screws and washers, it cost me under $200 to set this all up, so, which isn't bad considering that it's floor to ceiling shelving, and it would probably cost me a lot more. It would definitely cost a lot more to hire somebody, and it would still cost more to custom cut all of the lumber to fit each and every space that you want. And this is pretty custom already, if you ask me. I really like the look of it. It's kind of that industrial rough edges feel with kind of the sleek design, or the sleek look with the consoles and the newer power strips and sound and things like that. So I think it's a good blend of each. It's fun to look at, of course fun to play. Whole idea there is that you can just power them on and play any game you want. So who knows, I might play some Golden Axe, might play some UN Squadron after I'm done this video. So alright guys, well, thanks for watching the video. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to get more room tours, pickups, and Let's Plays in the future. Be sure to leave a comment and like. Alright guys, take care.